Hello, you fine looking individuals. Is adding Sega games the reason why the expansion pack is as expensive as it is? We're going to get into this and more. Again, this is one of my free thinking type of videos where I'm going to be discussing my thoughts and opinions on the way Nintendo does its practices and based on its history and things, and see where Nintendo's going to go from here possibly. So without further ado, let's get into it. So a couple of weeks ago, Nintendo released the pricing model of their new Nintendo Switch expansion pack to $49.99 for a single use and $79.99 for a family version of the same service, which can be up to 8 accounts. That is an increase of $30 and more for both versions of the service. Why is it so high? Rant has an article where they mention Emily Rogers, who is a Nintendo insider slash Nintendo predictor. I don't know exactly what the title is, but her predictions seem to be pretty accurate. So what she says, licensing costs are likely the main culprit behind the NSO expansion's bold price. I heard Sega were paid very, very well. This is notable because Sega weren't big fans of Wii U's virtual console service due to the low sales, revenue split, and lack of marketing. Hence why Sega didn't support the Wii U Virtual Console. It's also arguable that the Wii U didn't sell well either. They sold about 13.5 million units, which isn't that high. But personally, I really love the Wii U. I mean, Splatoon's on it. Emily Rogers goes on by saying third-party titles, Konami, Capcom are also being licensed for Genesis Nintendo Service Online. So licensing costs begin to add up after a while. And who knows what licensing agreements or arrangements Nintendo had with Rare and Microsoft. So this is kind of huge if true. If, as Emily Rogers said, that Sega was paid very well for this service, that would be the sole reason for the cost of why the whole service cost was doubled. I mean, Nintendo is getting paid about $20 a year per person to get online service with retro games. And now Sega is going to get probably an equivalent amount of money for their games, even so far as it's just one generation of their games. Again, this is all hypothetical theorization based on Emily Rogers' information. Let's see here. So the expansion pass is going to come with Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore, Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine or Puyo Puyo, Echo the Dolphin, Golden X1, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, which is a standout. I don't think any of the collection has that. Phantasy Star 4, Rystar, Shining Force 1, Shinobi 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2, and Strider. Let's also not forget that the service adds Nintendo games such as Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Win Back, Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, and Sin and Punishment. Also, you get the Animal Crossing DLC. That's if you've already purchased the game. But the Animal Crossing DLC you can purchase separately for $25. But if you have a family plan that you're a part of, you won't have to pay $25 each. Everyone has to pay to be a part of that service. So technically that's a deal, but apparently you lose access to that content if you're not a part of the service anymore. So maybe just buy the DLC, but at least they're offering N64 games. But for the Sega games, there are a lot of alternative ways to play these games. One is the Sega Genesis Mini. This comes with 42 games. So for the expansion pass, the only thing missing in this is Rystar and Musha. The Sega Genesis Classics collection for the Nintendo Switch has a lot of games, more games than the Genesis Mini, but compared to the PC version of the same game, you're going to be missing about 5 titles. One of those is Echo the Dolphin, another is Echo Tides of Time, another is Echo Jr. I'm sensing a theme here. Then Eternal Champions, which I think is a fighting game, and unfortunately it's also missing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. That one kind of hurts a lot. This collection really needs this. Maybe they'll add that to the expansion pack. So there are alternatives. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is, as of right now, the likes and dislikes ratio is 17,000 likes and 93,000 dislikes. I've been a Nintendo fan for a while now, and I think I know Nintendo well enough that I might be able to find out what their next move is. When there's a fan backlash for Nintendo, typically with Metroid Federation Force, for example, people were not pleased with that game showing, and it didn't even get rated very well, but Nintendo stuck to their guns and kept going. And even with the 3DS launch, people weren't buying into 3DS, but they kind of compensated by lowering the price, and for those who paid more, got an ambassador type of title, which they had access to virtual console games. I think that the original plan for this expansion pass was that if this was successful, the original $20 plan would probably fade away, so that the only online accessible version of the online pass would be the new $50 version. There's no reason to keep on 2 services, and one's definitely more popular. But since Nintendo's seeing such a backlash, we have to wait to see how many people upgrade to the service. If the service is not successful, I think Nintendo is going to remain having 2 service plans, the normal $20 one and the expansion pack, because if customers are willing to pay more, you can pay Nintendo more money. I mean, they're a business, they want more money. But for those who don't want the service or are protesting the service or simply can't afford it, you still have another option to go for. I know it's a weird prediction, but I think Nintendo's compensation for the backlash is probably by keeping both services. Because if the expansion pass is really successful and most people just move on to the expansion pass, there won't be really a need to have the other one. There'll be more customers in the expansion pass as opposed to the regular version. But what do you think? So at the time of this recording, the expansion pass is coming out tonight, so we'll have to see how many people jump on board. Am I going to be getting it? I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. So far, there's really nothing for me there, besides Paper Mario and Sin and Punishment. I don't know if that's worth it, but we'll have to find out. So what do you all think? Do you think that the expansion pass is probably going to be changing? Do you think Nintendo's going to change course? Do you think the expansion pass is going to be really successful? Let me know in the comments below. I have a video right here if you want to learn more about the Nintendo Online Service expansion pack. Thanks for watching the Poogie Boogie video. Stay healthy, stay strong. Catch you next time.